In this video, we're going to talk about the what, why, and how of starting a personal brand in 2021 and beyond. Hi, my name is Cliff Weitzman. I'm the CEO of Speechify. Speechify is an 85-person, deep learning-based text-to-speech company. We basically let you listen to the internet. I'm 27. I've been working on Speechify for about 5 years now. And this channel is all about my musings about entrepreneurship, business, finance, travel, fitness, and how to live a happy life, read a lot of philosophy, and make friends all over the world. So welcome to the journey. Let's get started. First things first, what is a personal brand? So I first started hearing this term thrown around in 2014. And I thought it was a really interesting term because, historically, there was no social media. Either you met a person or you didn't. If you met them, you formed an opinion. But you didn't necessarily meet companies. And companies would advertise in magazines because they wanted you to buy their products. And so there was not a person there, but there were principles, attributes, things that they wanted you to think about them. And that's really what a brand is. Then, 2004, Facebook comes around, and then LinkedIn, and then Instagram. People start to form opinions about people without actually meeting them. And so if someone's going to form an opinion about you, ideally, you want to have some control over that narrative. There's two things you need to think about. Number one, what do I want people to think about me? And number two, how do I want to proliferate that information so that people learn about me? The first thing I would do in trying to build a personal brand is distill down the 10 principles that you believe in that other people don't. And if you want to build a brand for your business or a brand for your soccer team or a brand for your, art gallery, do the same thing. And you can start by writing a list of 10 principles that describe you or the product or the service that you're offering, but then write 10 that don't describe what you're selling, that just describe what you believe in. Companies have the ability to change the world, and so do you. And you can do that either through your products, but also just through the way you move through the world. Yeah, Speechify is an amazing product in the sense that it democratizes access to learning, but it's also a company that by the end of next year will be 300 people. And so we impact the lives of all those people and their families and their communities. And the same thing is true for you. Whether you're a lawyer or a doctor or someone in the military, how you move through the world impacts the people around you, and that's your brand, often more than your profession. People are complicated. Don't make other people do the work of figuring out how to describe you in a unique way. You do the work of figuring out what words others should use to describe you. And if you do that work, people will consider you to be more special because they have the tools to describe those things to others. There's some cultures that have 20, 30, 40 words for white, especially cultures that have a lot of snow. There's other cultures that have 30 words for green, especially cultures that are in Amazon. And you know what's funny? The cultures with a lot of white can't discern the difference between different shades of green. And the cultures that have a lot of green can't discern the difference between different shades of white. But those who have words for them do. So if you give people the words to describe you, they'll see those things in you. How do you get the impressions on the internet? Because the brand today is built, personal brand today is built on the internet. A lot of this is a game of search engine optimization. I started off by writing Medium articles. And I would write Medium articles about productivity hacks and philosophies that I had. Then I would post them on groups on the internet, Reddit groups, LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, etc. And eventually tens of thousands of people would come and read those articles. And then I would make YouTube videos on how to file patents and how to disable the distracting notifications on Facebook and recommendations on YouTube.
My name is Cliff Weitzman, and today I'm going to teach you how to file for a provisional patent.
Those videos ended up winning in the algorithm for YouTube for the search terms, how to file a provisional patent, how to disable the recommendations on YouTube, etc., etc. So people came to my channels. And when they came to my channels, they'd find other videos where I talk about my principles. And that's how I built my personal brand. I once read a great article called 1,000 True Fans. And the idea is that if you have 1,000 true fans, people who will buy every art piece you make, attend every event you create, if you put out a cap, they'll buy the cap, they'll read your book. And those people on average spend $100 on you per year, or even $1,000 on you per year. 100 times 1,000, that's $100,000 a year. 1,000 times 1,000, that's $1 million a year. 2021 is the best time to build a personal brand like this. Why? Because the internet makes everything scale so much more. And when I say the internet, the internet existed when Jeff Bezos started Amazon, but now everybody has an iPhone and is spending all their time on their iPhone or AirPods or podcasts or Android or YouTube. The amount of time people spend engaging with the internet is so high and dense. And in the past, you'd read web pages and articles. But now I can sit here in front of a camera and record at 4K and post a 25-minute video to YouTube and people watch it. Sometimes I go and I do talks at schools and 100 people will come out, 500 people will come out. But this video alone will be watched by I don't know how many people, potentially 2,000 people. It's easier than ever to make a video. It's easier than ever to make a Substack and have an email newsletter. It's easier than ever to have a TikTok, to have a LinkedIn, to have a Medium, to create value for other people on the internet, and also to have them find you, because people consume more of other people on the internet now than they ever have in the past. TikTok is a very good example of this. So for the top of funnel, for meeting new people who will come and engage with your personal brand, TikTok is probably the strongest platform right now. LinkedIn is really good as well. How do I stay consistent? First of all, if you're not willing to give it a real amount of effort, it's not for you. It's not something that is a luck-based thing. It seems like it is, but it's not. It's a dedication thing over a large period of time. One thing that I've gained more appreciation for over the last 5 years, 27-year-old Cliff versus 22-year-old Cliff. 22-year-old Cliff has no chance anywhere. Not in fitness and sports, not in music, not in business, not in anywhere. And 22-year-old Cliff was a really capable guy. But I've had 5 years of working 100-hour weeks, surrounded by the most wonderful people in the world, loving on myself constantly, that I'm just a better person. And it's because I'm committed and I'm consistent. With the gym, other people in this house, for example, work out much more intensely than I do, and work out, more frequently than I do, and their nutrition is even tighter. But I'm the person who's been the most consistent about fitness for the longest period of time. And so I have a really, really strong base. And so consistency is just key. And the way to keep consistency is find the pillars that are most important to you in your life. For me, it's spending time on loving others, listening to audiobooks, fitness, music, and I don't compromise on those things. Those are the basic table stakes. And after that, I can go do anything else. I can do social media, I can work on my business, I can, do bigger music stuff, whatever. But those core are the key, and that's how I never burn out. So find what are the keys for you. Maybe it's sleeping, maybe it's spending time with your family, and make sure that those are uncompromised. I surround myself by really wonderful, supportive people, whether it be my friends or my family, and that helps me out a lot as well. I say ignore the haters. There's haters everywhere. By the way, if someone writes a hateful comment, if you go and search for the other comments that they make, they're all hateful. It's not something about you, they're projecting something inside of them. And so there's a bunch of times where someone wrote a hateful comment to me, and I just responded back to them with love and appreciation. And they immediately flip and they go and like all my photos on Instagram. This happens so many times. But sometimes the biggest hater is yourself. And how do you deal with that? So the other thing I've observed from friends who have big social media followings is something's broken in their brain, they don't hate on themselves. So learn how to not hate on yourself. There's no reason to hate on yourself. Why? Sometimes it's a learned behavior because society puts you in check over and over and over again. Realize that that's completely irrelevant. You shouldn't be putting yourself in check. Society shouldn't be putting yourself in check. You are a free person. You could do whatever makes you happy. Be confident. And if you feel thoughts of self-hate or putting yourself down, write them out on a piece of paper and you'll see how ridiculous they are. Giving voice to feelings that are subconscious is very powerful because you cannot slay your demons unless you name them. Make sure to write it out in front of you if you have a negative thought about yourself, and you'll realize that it's irrational. So today we talked about what is a personal brand and why you would want one, and what are the things that you should do in order to figure out how to make one, and how you get people to find out about you to begin with. What I'd like for you to do, if you like this video and you engaged, is open the notes file on your phone. List 1 to 10, and write the 10 principles that you believe in that other people don't. And then take a screenshot of that and put it on Instagram and tag me. And if you have a principle that I think is really cool, I will reshare your post and I'll give you my thoughts as to how you could rephrase them to make them more specific to you. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful. And as always, click the link below to download Speechify for iOS. Click the link below to download Speechify for Chrome. Click here to download Speechify for Android. Find us on Instagram, on LinkedIn. If you're an engineer or product designer, hit us up on LinkedIn to join our team at Speechify. And as always, happy listening.